She left. She ghosted. She stopped texting back. And your first instinct was to chase, to explain, to beg. But let me ask you this. Since when did a lion chase after a rabbit that ran away? No, man. A lion stays still, calm, powerful, silent, because he knows his worth. You gave her everything. Your attention, your time, your presence. And what did she do? She thought she could walk away, and you come crawling. That's where she was wrong. This time, you don't chase. This time, you let the silence speak. You let her feel the empty space where you used to be. And that silence will echo louder than any words you could have ever said. You're not just walking away. You're making her live in the absence of your presence. Let her suffer. Let her miss you. Let her wonder. Because the moment you stopped chasing was the moment she started thinking. And that's where the game changes. There's something primal, something ancient about the decision to pull back. It's not just an action, it's a signal that you've taken back control. Most men make the same mistake. When she pulls away, they move closer. When she goes cold, they turn up the heat. When she ignores, they chase. And that's exactly when she loses all respect for you. Because here's the brutal truth. The more you chase, the less she wants to be caught. Why? Because deep down, she wants to feel the gravity of your absence, not the desperation of your presence. Pulling back isn't weakness. It's the ultimate power move. You're not disappearing. You're repositioning. You're stepping back not because you're afraid to lose her, but because you finally remembered you don't need her to begin with. Read that again. Let it hit. You never chase someone who treats your presence like it's disposable. You pull back so she can experience the silence. And in that silence, she meets herself with all her doubts, all her ego, all her regrets. That's when the shift happens. When you stop reaching out and she starts remembering what she lost. It's in your absence that she starts to miss your presence. Pulling back is not revenge. It's clarity. And clarity is what separates boys from men. So now you've pulled back. You've created space. But let's go deeper. Why is chasing so destructive in the first place? So you pulled back. You created distance. But you're still wondering, what if I just tried harder? What if I'd been more patient, more romantic, more available? Let me stop you right there. Trying harder never brings her back. It pushes her further away. Because here's the truth. Attraction is not built through pursuit. It's built through polarity, through mystery, tension, presence without pressure. When you chase, you flip the script. You become the needy one, the dependent one. You're no longer the man she was once drawn to. You become the man begging for validation. And nothing kills attraction faster than neediness. Let's be real. A man chasing is a man negotiating his worth. You're subconsciously telling her, my value depends on you picking me. And once she senses that, game over. You stop being a challenge. You become a fan. And fans don't get love. They get ignored. Remember, she was attracted to the version of you that had purpose, direction, power. The version that didn't beg for attention because he already had his own focus. When you chase, you step off your throne and start crawling. And women don't fall in love with crawling men. They admire kings, men who stand tall, speak less, and walk away when respect is lost. So the next time you feel the urge to chase, ask yourself, am I honoring myself, or am I handing away my power for free? Now that you understand why chasing backfires, it's time to talk about what to do instead. Part 3. The Art of Creating Space. Now you understand why chasing backfires. It's not just ineffective, it's destructive. But here's the next level. You don't just stop chasing. You create space. Intentionally, strategically, powerfully. You pull back not out of weakness, but from clarity. You're not playing games. You're playing chess, not checkers. Because space is where the truth shows up. Space is where the dust settles. and she finally hears the echo of your absence. You see, most guys panic when she pulls away. They react emotionally. They double text, call late at night, send songs, quotes, and long paragraphs about how much she means. Wrong move. Desperation is noise. Space is silence. And silence is where power lives. Creating space does something magical. It shifts the frame. You're no longer the one trying to win her back. She's the one questioning what she's losing. And here's the twist. Women don't fall in love when you try to impress them. They fall when they feel the gap, the absence, the realization that you're no longer waiting by the door. That space becomes a mirror. She starts seeing herself differently. And more importantly, she starts seeing you differently. The man who doesn't chase. The man who walks away with his dignity intact. The man who values himself so highly, he'll never fight for a spot in someone else's life. That's attractive. That's unforgettable. That's dangerous. So let the silence speak louder than your words ever could. Let your distance raise questions she never asked before. And let your absence become her lesson. Because in that space, she either grows enough to reach out or reveals she was never meant for you in the first place. Either way, you win. But what if she doesn't reach out? What if she moves on? Good. That's the final test. Part 4. If she doesn't reach out. So you created space. You've gone silent. You've walked away not with bitterness, but with presence. And now, time passes. She hasn't reached out. And that voice in your head starts whispering. Maybe I should say something. What if she just needs a nudge? What if she forgot me? Let me stop you right there. That's fear talking, not wisdom. You see, when you create space, two things can happen. Number one, she realizes what she lost and reaches out. Or she doesn't. And both outcomes are a gift. Let me say that again. Both outcomes are a win. If she reaches out, great. But if she doesn't, then you've been spared from building your life with someone who never truly valued you. You dodged a bullet. You escaped from a cycle of overgiving, overproving, overchasing. She didn't reach out? Good. She's just revealed who she truly is. Not with words, but with silence. Not with reasons, but with absence. Because the woman who disappears without looking back was never yours to begin with. And I know that hurts. I know it stings to realize someone you loved was only temporary in your story. But temporary people teach permanent lessons. Like this one, never settle for being an option. Never beg for a place in someone's priorities. Never base your worth on their ability to see it. If she doesn't reach out, you don't chase. You don't shrink. You don't question your power. Instead, you double down on your purpose. You upgrade your standards. You build a life so full, so rich, so magnetic, that one day she'll see your glow from a distance and realize she let go of something she'll never find again. But by then, it won't matter because you've already moved on, not just physically, but spiritually, emotionally, mentally. You've become a man you were meant to be, with or without her. That's real freedom. That's real masculinity. That's your rebirth. So what do you do in the meantime? When the silence stretches on and the nights get heavy, you rebuild. You evolve. You rise. Part 5. Rebuild yourself in the silence. So she didn't reach out. She didn't call. She didn't come running back with tears in her eyes. And now you're alone. But this is the most powerful place a man can be. Not because it's easy, but because it's real. No masks, no distractions, no dopamine hits from temporary affection. Just you, and the silence, and the truth. And in that silence, something begins to grow. Not bitterness, not desperation, but clarity. You start to see her for who she truly was, not who you fantasized she was. You start to feel the weight of your old self, and you begin to shed it, because pain is a scalpel. It cuts deep, but it also removes what no longer serves you. You thought the silence was empty? It's not. It's a forge, and now you're inside it, being melted, reshaped, refined. This is where men are built. Not when they're chasing, not when they're being chased, but when they're rebuilding. Silently, privately, deliberately. So what do you do in the silence? You wake up earlier. You train harder. You cut off distractions. You work on your mission like a man possessed. You read the books that scare you. You build the body, the mind, the business you've been procrastinating on. You stop asking, why did she leave? And you start asking, what version of me would never even attract someone like her again? That question will save your life. Because now, you're not rebuilding to win her back. You're rebuilding so no one can break you like that again. Let your pain turn into structure. Let your heartbreak become fuel. Let her absence build your empire. And one day, she may see you again, but it won't be the same man, because that man died the moment she walked away. You're not chasing. You are rising. You rebuilt in silence. Now it's time to rise in public. This is your evolution. This is your fire. Part 6, Rise in Public. This is your evolution. You rebuilt in silence. Now it's time to rise in public. But this rise, it's not loud. It's not desperate. It's not for her. It's for you. You're not trying to prove anything. Because the man who needs to prove is still a boy inside. The man who knows doesn't need to shout. You walk into the room now, and people can feel the shift. Your energy is sharper. Your presence is heavier. Your silence says more than your words ever did. You don't seek validation anymore. You radiate certainty. You're no longer chasing attention. You're commanding it without even trying. Because here's the truth. When you stop begging the world to see you, the world starts to look. That's the paradox. You used to wonder what she was thinking. Now you barely think of her. And when you do, it's not with pain. It's with power. You finally see her for what she was. A teacher, a mirror, a fire that burned away your weakness. You rise not for revenge. You rise because staying down would have been a betrayal. To your potential, to your mission, to the man you were always meant to be. Now you walk differently. You speak differently. You choose differently. Your life isn't about getting her back. It's about never losing yourself again. That's the shift, and the world notices. They may not say it, but they feel it. In a way you no longer respond to drama. In a way you protect your peace like it's sacred. In a way you treat time like it's gold. You're not bitter. You're better. You're not looking back. You're building forward. And she will notice. One day, she will see the life you've built, the strength you've become, the man she couldn't break, the man she no longer has access to. And that realization will hurt her more than anything you could ever say. But you won't even flinch, because you're too busy living a life she was never strong enough to grow with. Let that be your victory. You've evolved. You've risen. Now it's time to protect your new self from her return, from temptation, from weakness. Part 7. Protect the new you. She will test you. She left. She watched you crumble. She thought you'd stay there, but you didn't. You rose. You became someone else. Someone stronger, wiser, more dangerous, because now you see clearly. And when you rise like that, she'll feel it, even if she's not watching, even if she's with someone else. She'll feel the shift in the universe. She'll feel the weight of the silence. She'll feel your detachment, and that will haunt her. But this is the dangerous part. She might come back, not always with words. Sometimes it's a like, a memory res hair. Hey, just wanted to see how you're doing. Harmless? No, it's a test. She wants to see if she still has access. Not to love you, but to control the version of you she broke. And if you're not careful, if you let nostalgia win, if you open that door again, she won't respect you more. She'll lose what little respect remained. Because here's the bitter truth. She's not drawn to your light. She's drawn to the power you reclaimed. The man who begged, she pitied. The man who left the door open, she ignored. The man who closed it sealed it, and walked away without hate? That man? She feared. So now, you have to protect him. Not with anger, not with games, but with standards, with silence, with boundaries. She doesn't deserve to see you rise now. She forfeited that privilege the moment she walked away. Let her watch from a distance, like a stranger passing by a kingdom she once abandoned. You don't let the past back in. Because the past hasn't changed, you have. Guard your peace like a king guards his throne. Not because you're bitter, but because you finally know your worth. And if she comes back, don't seek revenge. Don't gloat. Just smile and stay silent. Because true power is never loud. True power doesn't need to explain itself. She'll feel it, and that will be enough. You're not done. Now comes the real test. Can you live this truth every day? Not just when she's watching, but when no one is. Part 8. Live it every day. Don't just wake up, stay awake. It's one thing to wake up. It's another to stay awake. Anyone can rise for a moment. Lift weights. Read books. Change their hair. Post quotes online. But can you keep going when no one is clapping? When no one is watching? When she doesn't check in, doesn't call, doesn't care? Because this is the test. It's not about being strong for 1 month. It's about becoming a man whose strength is non-negotiable. Every single day. She may never come back. They may never apologize. The world might never say, "Good job." But that's not why you do it. You show up because it's who you are now. You train because your body is a weapon. You study because ignorance is weakness. You stay silent because peace is louder than any argument. This is where most men fail. They evolve just enough to get her attention, then fall back the moment she does. But not you. You didn't rise for her. You didn't build for revenge. You built because you finally saw what you're capable of. That version of you, the man who wakes up early, trains hard, speaks little, and moves with purpose. He's not temporary. He's permanent. This isn't a chapter. This is the book. So live it. Every day. Not to prove a point, but because this is who the F***K you are now. Let others fall back. Let them beg. Let them post and pretend. Let them chase ghosts. But not you. You're not chasing her. You're not chasing anyone. You're chasing discipline, clarity, and freedom. And every day you show up, even when it's hard, even when it's lonely, you become more untouchable. You don't need closure. You became it. You don't need her to see. You're already seen by the man in the mirror. And when he nods back, that's all the validation you'll ever need. Now that you've mastered yourself, it's time to build your kingdom. Not for her, not for revenge, but because you were always meant to be king. Part 9. Build your kingdom, brick by brick. Now that the storm inside you has calmed, it's time to build something unshakable. You've buried the boy. You've awakened the man. Now awaken the king. And kings don't chase women. They build kingdoms so powerful. Women fight to be noticed by them. So ask yourself, what are you building? Not just physically, not just financially, but mentally, spiritually. What will stand when you're gone? The gym carved your strength. Silence sharpened your mind. Pain forged your resilience. Now it's time to create your empire. You don't need to be rich today, but start. A business, a brand, a code, a path. 1 brick a day, each action aligned with vision. A king doesn't seek validation. He creates value. He doesn't wait for luck. He builds systems, habits, structure. He turns chaos into order and weakness into wisdom. You've already proven you can survive heartbreak. Now prove you can lead. Lead your life. Lead your purpose. Lead your damn destiny. Let her watch from afar as the man she left behind becomes the man she can't even reach anymore. Not because you blocked her, but because you've elevated too far, too high, too deep, too focused. And from that focus, you build. No more wasting time trying to convince people. Let your actions speak. Let your results roar. Let your growth be so undeniable that even your silence becomes legendary. This is how kings move. This is how empires are born, not through noise, but through clarity, consistency, and command. So stop looking back. Stop checking her stories. Stop wondering if she misses you. She'll see the empire. She'll feel the throne. And by then, it'll be too late. Because you're not available anymore. Not to her. Not to drama. Not to anything that doesn't serve your kingdom.